call the January Elizabethton Board of Education meeting to order. First item, if you'd please stand, and we'll have Mr. Van Huss lead us in a moment of silence and the pledge to the flag.
Please pause for a moment of silence. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, it's time to approve the consent and regular agenda. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, second?
Second.
Second. Okay, any comments, questions, anything we need to discuss on there? Okay, all right. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the consent and regular agenda, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, likewise. Motion carries. Next, time for citizens to speak. I don't think we had anyone make a request to do that. Next item will be reports. We'll start with Mr. Van Huss with the director's report.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity to speak to everyone tonight. Would like to start again, as we always do, to commend our teachers and staff across the district for their continued hard work and extremely difficult circumstances. So just again, very proud of all that they're doing to make the best education system we can possibly have in the middle of a pandemic. So again, they continue to do things that are nothing short than a miracle, and we're very, very appreciative of them. I want to inform the board that A.Y. McDonald Manufacturing, located in Elizabethton, made a $10,000 donation to the school system, and so we're very, very appreciative of that, and we'll certainly put that to good use. But it was great talking with their plant manager, and we're looking at some ways that we can partner with them. They do a lot of manufacturing on anything that moves water, is the way that he described that, different valves and things like that. So there's some, they do a lot of work with CNC machines, and of course we have a CNC machine there at the high school, so we're already talking about some ways that we can involve our students, at least on a tour, to see what job opportunities they have there as well as their process. So we certainly appreciate them very much and look forward to the partnership with them. Of course, you know that last week we had to, the first time this school year, we had to go fully virtual at one location, and that was, of course, T.A. Duggar for 1 week. And you know, you never want to say timing was good, but based on the situation we had with Martin Luther King Day, and we were already out, and some other things that allowed us to have a fairly minimal impact on the schedule for those students. So we had an issue with cafeteria staff not being available, and we were kind of thin in some other areas, and we tried every way to find some way we could staff that and still have school, but unfortunately we were just spread a little too thin. So we're glad that they're back on hybrid, and we made the announcement yesterday that starting Monday, students in pre-K through 5 will be back in session 4 days a week starting next week, and it's our hope and goal to move the junior high and high school in that direction as quickly as we can. You know, one real challenge that we've had with making those determinations is, as the vaccine is rolled out, testing is down considerably in, well, everywhere, Carter County and Northeast Tennessee. So with that, it becomes very difficult to find reliable data because those testing numbers are down so low. So we relied on what data was there that has been pretty consistent. So we looked at hospitalizations, and as you know, there's been a fairly dramatic drop in hospitalizations across the Ballard Health System. And so looking at that, we felt like that it was time to do that. Plus we had very small numbers, I think maybe 3 cases system-wide across our elementary schools. So we felt like that was a good opportunity now to move in that direction. And And as always, we're committed to getting students on campus as much as we possibly can in a safe manner. So, so we look forward to seeing how that goes next week and getting other students back as well. As you notice over to your right, those two big crates over there are full of Chromebooks. And just want to commend the technology staff, the maintenance staff. They worked so hard this week pushing those Chromebooks out to schools. So those that you see back there, for the most part, are spares that we have, which is great. So if we have a student that, one that becomes defective, we have some to replace. So they've started sending those out to the schools, and we've already started deploying those to students. So we ordered those in June, so they came in just a little bit late than what we had anticipated. But we're very, very thankful that we have those, and appreciate the funding that we had from the federal government, again, from CARES Act money to purchase those. So that's gotten us to a point to where now we can truly say we are one-to-one across the district. Every student in our system that needs access to a device, we have it for them. So that's been a long time coming, and again, just lots of thanks to the technology staff for all their work in pushing that out. They've been, and that's one reason why it looks a little different in here, because they've been working so hard over the last 4 days to push those out. Also, a thank you to the Carter County Health Department, again, as they do the tremendous work, the task of trying to get out vaccine to the community. I just want to, again, just tell them how much we appreciate them and the opportunity that teachers have had thus far to receive those vaccines. And we've already had some teachers this week that received their second dose, and there'll be more next week on tap to receive their second dose as well. So we're making plans for that, and it's my understanding that hopefully very soon they're going to be rolling out other opportunities for those that haven't had that opportunity thus far. So again, just it's a monumental task for them, and it's been great. It's been a great sign to me to see how many people have been interested in getting the vaccine. So I think that's a positive for our community, and will help us get over this, push through this pandemic as quickly as possible to more people that are willing to do that. So as you know, the legislature, the state legislature, they're currently in a special session, and they're considering 4 different items. They're looking at a learning loss bill, a literacy bill, accountability and teacher pay. So I was fortunate enough today to have a meeting with Senator Rusty Crowe, a phone meeting, along with Dr. Barnett with Johnson City Schools, to discuss some of our concerns with some of those items in there. At the end of the day, we all want what's best for our students. Legislature feels the same way. So I'm very appreciative of Senator Crowe, just the fact that he was willing to take time out of his busy schedule to meet with us and listen to our concerns. So there'll be more of that to come as we move forward, but there are some components there that are concerning on how we would actually be able to pull off some of those areas. So again, it's very positive in the fact that they're asking us for our opinion and thoughts on these matters. So there'll be more to come on that. In your packet, I have included an update on the construction projects we have going across the system. Just real quickly, you can look over there to see in more detail, but the protected entrances at the high school, Harold McCormick and Eastside, are coming along well. We're still waiting on a few items as far as door cylinders and things like that. There's also ballistic film that will apply to glass. We're still waiting on that to come in, but those projects are almost finished, and that's been a long time coming as well. It's going to be really, really nice. At T.A. Duggar, the interior renovations, if you've not been there, and I meant to have you pictures, I will get pictures and email those to you. But the 2 restrooms that have been completed on the gym side of T.A. Duggar on the 1st and 2nd floor are amazing. They look tremendous. Very, very nice. And those of you that have been in there in the past, you know what shape those were in. So that was a long time coming as well. It's really, really going to be nice. So now they're on the auditorium side, and they're doing the same process there. And they learned a lot on the first 2, so the second 2 are going much, much quicker. As well as a handicapped accessible restroom on the 2nd floor and on the 1st floor. So there's one item on the agenda tonight to consider, and that's a change order. And I'll talk a little bit more about that and the need for that. But that's involving that one of those handicapped accessible restrooms as well. The roofing project is moving along as well. We did have a little snag. It's been hard keeping people on site there working, but they've been back on site this week, finishing up the band room and about to move on to the main building. So the work has been great, what they've done, so we're very pleased with the quality of the work. But again, it's just not moving nearly as fast as all of us would want it to go, but it is, again, it's moving in that direction. ESSER 2.0 funding. So this is the second round of CARES Act, and the Elizabethton City Schools has received $2.5 million in this funding, and the main focuses are learning loss and infrastructure. So we're looking at several different projects, and I'll be sharing more information with you as well. At the February meeting, we'll have actually a course of action to spend that funding that we'll ask you to consider and approve. So just some of the things we're considering, we're looking at system-wide replacement of smart boards with new technology. That would be something that all of our students across the district would see some benefit from. That technology that we've had is getting toward the end of its useful life. So this would be one time we would have a bulk of funds that we would be able to go in and address that. That's one focus we've tried to keep in mind is what projects could we do that everyone's going to see the results of that and the benefit from that. So that's one of those things. We're also looking at the possibility of maybe doing some asbestos abatement at Harold McCormick, which, as you know, has been an issue for years. They've not had window replacements, HVAC upgrades, none of those things because of asbestos. Now, it's not asbestos in the sense that it's a danger to any of the people that are in the building, but anytime you go and disturb that, there's all kinds of government safety regulations that you have to follow. So we're looking at maybe a way that we can systematically begin in that building to address some of those issues. So just keep that in mind. That's another area. We're also looking at some HVAC needs at the high school as well. So there are several other things, and I'll be sharing some of those ideas with you and get input from you and your thoughts on how to move forward with that in the days to come. But we're very, very thankful for that. It gives us a chance to do things that we probably would have a very hard time doing in any other situation. Of course, next week is School Board Appreciation Week. So I just want to say thank you very much for what you do. It is a thankless job. The pay is not very good. And so, but based on that, the fact that you're willing to volunteer your time to do this means a lot, says a lot about your character and your willingness to support the community in a positive way. So thank you very much for that, and I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Van Huss. Board reports, anybody have anything? All I would say is make sure you get your compliance form. I guess you may have already done that. Also, I'd just like to say congratulations. There is a Hall of Fame ceremony getting ready to take place down at the high school. I think we have 4 inductees. And don't forget also at the end we'll have a budget workshop before the next meeting at 4:45. It's on the end of the agenda. It's written there, just a reminder.
Mr. Pless?
Yes.
What's the date on that Hall of Fame?
The Hall of Fame is tonight, actually. It starts, I believe, at 6.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
So
yes.
it'll be going on, hopefully, about the time we finish.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll hurry. And again, I'll echo, and I think all of us echo, a special thanks to our teachers and staff for everything that they do in difficult times. Thank you, Felicia, for the School Board Academy catalog. Don't forget we have something, a day's worth that we need to get in. So, but that's there, and I believe that's all I have. Any other board members? Mr. Simmerly, good to have you here tonight. I know you had some things you want to share. It's time for City Council liaison report.
Thank you, Mr. Pless, Mr. Manhuss, board members. I'm only got about 30 minutes worth of information here I'm going to cover with you tonight. So
you're on the clock.
First and foremost, at our last meeting, I had mentioned about City Council looking at naming rights with Coach Ryder. I still want to bring that back again to you tonight. We have put that off until our March meeting, but we are going to have to address it. We want to do the right thing here, as I mentioned at our last meeting. So anything that any of you have any ideas on, please bring it to me. We have some ideas. Earlier today, I'd called, Mr. Van Huss called me and we were talking, but just a couple of things I had bounced off him. And again, I've had a lot of people from the community call me and other things that we've talked about this naming rights. But again, we've got an idea here, maybe an annual football fundraising event that would be in Coach Ryder's honor. It could be tied in maybe with the spring or summer football camp where we have the Witten Huddle now, or it could be something different. But again, it could be a fundraising event where we could give the Ryder family the opportunity, that money that we would bring into that event, that we could use and they could give in their name, in Coach Ryder's honor, to give back to the community, whether it's to the school system, maybe it's for better football equipment, whatever it might be. But again, that was one of several things that's been brought to my attention. But again, we want to do the right thing here, but I need some help. So anything that any of you have any ideas on, please reach out to me, especially from the students, if you've got any ideas. I'm very, very open for that. Obviously, I'm involved in a lot of other things here other than just city council. So this does tie in with the school system where I need your help. Some other things that I serve on and work with. One of them coming up on March 27th, Keep Carter County Beautiful with the Elizabethton City Park and Rec. That is a Saturday. We're having a tree planting on the Tweetsy Trail. Last year we actually had some high school students who helped us. I'm very appreciative of that. But again, this year, if anyone would like to come to help, please feel free to reach out to me. Right now, it's probably going to be about 8:30 or 9 o'clock that morning on Saturday, March 27th. But it's a fun event. We always have good coverage from the press that's there. And I know the children just, they get a lot from it. So again, if the children need some school credits, some hour time, we'd be happy to help that. That's all a part of Keep America Beautiful, but it's called Keep Carter County Beautiful, KCCB. Another thing, last meeting, maybe a couple meetings ago, you had about a beekeeping project that the high school is working with. I'd mentioned after the meeting, I work with Sycamore Shoals State Park. I'm on their board down there, friends with Sycamore Shoals State Park. They're doing the same thing down there. They've got beehives that they're getting from the state. And I think that would be a wonderful thing for the high school to tie in with Sycamore Shoals on that beekeeping project. Whether it's selling honey, maybe you get more honey or take your honey down to the park and sell it, whatever it might be. But again, it's a way to tie in our school system with our local parks. This being a state park here. Another thing, you were talking earlier, you've got your budget workshop coming up. And I'd already mentioned to Mr. Van Huss, the city will be having our budget as well. We're starting to work on. So anything that's major, maybe outside of that window, that's something bigger than what we had last year, please just let us know so we can work on it, be prepared, or at least I can be your extra mouth at the council so I can twist some arms for you to try to help if I can. Last thing I have is every year, this past year being an exception, at Sycamore Shoals State Park, we have a drama called Liberty. And if you've never been to it, you need to go. We have a tremendous amount of history here in East Tennessee, tremendous amount of history. And it's American history. But again, we're asking that if we have any students in your drama department that would want to be involved in this, we would be tickled to have them. In the years past, it's been a volunteer basis, but this year, first time ever, we're actually going to be paying actors and paying people. So it'd be an opportunity for the students if they want to come and learn a drama class and have some fun and be part of the drama, maybe earn some extra money. That's my 30 minutes worth, Mr. Blaze.
You did well. And I think I was curious. There's a show, Tennessee, the Wild Side or something, comes on Saturday mornings on PBS, and they talked about the bees.
Okay.
And that they eventually want them at every park, and they're adding 8 this year. So I guess maybe we're one of those 8's. What it sounds like
we
maybe
had,
this year.
I'm trying to remember exactly the number of hives that we got, but we had, I think there were 2 people. One was from Kingsport, and the other one was from Greenville. We didn't really have anyone. I may be saying that wrong, but I don't think we had anyone local that really knew how to do the beehive and beekeeping. I've had a little bit of experience with it. Just the next door neighbor when I lived in North Carolina, I helped him with his hives. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot. It's what keeps our world going. We have to have these bees. Yeah. And again, when I heard that and what the high school was doing, I'm like, we need to tie us together here because the school system's got a good thing going, a lot of good things going.
Yes.
That
We
one of
have a
many.
really good contact at the TCAT that's a great beekeeper, Mr.
Good.
Brian Irick, that may be a good contact.
Please
that's
have
a
him reach
local
out to
guy.
me. We
So,
would love to have
okay.
his help or resources down at
All
the
right.
Sycamore Shoals State Park.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Appreciate
your
it.
time.
Thank
tonight.
you.
I have a quick question about the Liberty thing.
Yes.
When would you need people to contact you about that by? Is there a
They-
certain time or?
Yeah, we have, I think we have auditions starting, I think it's in March. Matter of fact, I've got a board meeting. As soon as I leave here, we'll have a board meeting here tonight at 6:30, and I'll confirm that. And I'll get back with Mr. Van Huss and he can give the time out, the date. But I think we do have auditions starting, maybe it's in March, or maybe it's in February, and we start actually doing the practice in March. But this year, we're changing Liberty completely. In years past, it was in the month of July. I think it's like 2-3 days every weekend in July. It was a little hot. We're moving it into June this year if we can have it because of COVID. But if we can, do a lot of great things down at the park. And just keep reading the newspaper. You'll be seeing what we're doing down there. I'm very proud of our state park that we have here. A lot of changes, a lot of upgrades, updates, better seating, better lighting. It's everything. We bought a brand new concessions building down there to be able to sell food during the events. But it's just, again, it's a good opportunity to tie this wonderful school system we have, these wonderful students in, with a local event, especially if it's a drama student that's wanting to learn a little bit more, take it to the next step. It'd be a great opportunity to see if they want to do something like that.
Have you spoken with Meg Foster?
I have not. Can you give me her information? I'd be happy, or have her reach out to me.
I'll do that. I'll share all this with her and get her in touch with you. I'll do all that tomorrow.
And these could be non-speaking opportunities, or it could be speaking, or just how far the student would want to take it. It's a big deal. And again, if you've not been to Liberty, I can't confess enough. It's a lot of fun. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. It's time for the student liaison, Veronica.
I don't have anything to add tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
And any encouragement you can give other students about the Liberty?
Yes, I'll be sure
That'd be
to pass
awesome.
that on. I
That'd
have
be
a few
great.
people in mind.
Okay. All right, now it's time to move to the regular agenda. First item on the regular agenda, approve on first reading the removal of Board Policy 4.401, textbook selection, distribution, and care. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Okay, and second? Second, okay. Any
So
explanation?
this, sure. So this item, we talked last week about policy 4.400, and they combined 4.400 and 4.401. So this is just a bookkeeping motion to eliminate this policy because that's all included in 4.400 now.
Okay. Questions? Okay. Item on the agenda to approve on first reading the removal of Board Policy 4.401, textbook selection, distribution, and care. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. And all those opposed, likewise. Okay. Motion carries. Next item, approve Elizabethton City Schools COVID-19 Emergency Paid Leave Plan effective January 1, 2021 through June 30, 2021. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
A second? All right.
Okay.
Items there.
Yeah, absolutely. So last semester, as part of the COVID relief, the state had a program in place for up to 14 days of paid leave for individuals as it relates to COVID. That could be anywhere from child care issues to quarantine or in those situations where someone had to isolate because they had tested positive. The problem with that program is it expired on December 31st. So at this point, that is no longer an option. We had some staff members that obviously used that. Of course, we had a lot that didn't. And obviously, we're not over COVID. We're still right in the throes of that. So we felt like it was appropriate to extend this plan through June the 30th. Now, I will tell you that I have heard some talk that maybe they will reinstate that. And if that happens, we would obviously revert back to the state plan at that point. But in lieu of that, in case that doesn't happen, we felt it was important to have something in place now so that our staff, they don't have to use all their sick days for, a situation that involves COVID. So you may ask, the plan deal, it basically extends them 8 days. And the reason for the 8 days is since there's been a reduction in the quarantine period, if someone stays asymptomatic, we've reduced that to 8 days because that takes into account no matter how whenever you get that word that you're going to have to quarantine, by the time you take in the weekends, that eliminates the need for 10 days. So if someone has used 3 days in the fall on the old plan, that means they would have 5 days that they could use now. One bit of flexibility we built into this one that was not in the first one was if you used it, you had to use it all at once or you lost the opportunity to use it. So we've built in that flexibility because sometimes there's situations where once someone tests positive and we find out about that and they contact trace, maybe there's only 3 days left that you need to quarantine. Well, we don't want to penalize someone for those days. If they only need 3, then we're going to let them keep the other 5 because it may happen the day they come back. So that's just kind of a synopsis of what we put in place and just felt that was the right thing to do for our employees. What we've also built in, and we did this last semester as well, if we have staff members that based on their job, they can work from home, then we've not made them take leave. So, and we will continue to do that as well. So these are only for situations where someone cannot perform their duties at home. And in some jobs that we have, as you know, you just really can't do from home. So that's where this would step in and take place and help those individuals out.
Any comments or questions? Okay, item to approve, Elizabethton City Schools COVID-19 Emergency Paid Leave Plan effective January 1, 2021 through June 30, 2021. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Next item on the agenda, to approve the creation of a part-time graduation coach position at Elizabethton High School to assist at-risk students for the 2021 school year to be paid by using XQ funds. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved. Mr. Quinn, thank you. Have a second?
Second.
Second, thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Okay, so this position, as you know, there's been lots of challenges with COVID, and especially when it comes to students and their ability to be on campus and for in-person instruction. So obviously that's been a challenge for a lot of students, and we've had some students that have fallen behind credit-wise based on their performance first semester. So the last thing we want to do, we want to try to give those students every chance they can to get their head back above water. And you're talking about some students that could potentially not graduate unless they have the opportunity to do credit recovery. So this position would go in, work with those students, allow them to do credit recovery so they could stay on track to graduate. So this would just be for this school year, and again, it would be paid for out of XQ funds. And it would be a certified teacher would be in that role. So it would be similar to a 100-day contract where the person would be in and they would work, roughly half a day, roughly, to cover some classes to assist with credit recovery.
Is this posted and ready to go, or is it?
It is posted and ready to go.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
All
So
right.
we have certainly not filled that until the board
Okay.
approved that position.
All
But we went ahead and posted it just for that
Gotcha.
reason, because time is of the essence. We need to get those students in there since the
Gotcha.
second semester has already begun.
Okay, any comments or questions? Okay, items to approve, the creation of a part-time graduation coach position at EHS to assist at-risk students for the 2020-2021 school year to be paid by using XQ funds. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item. Approve the opening of a retainage/escrow account at Citizens Bank with GRC Construction to add new board members. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Second.
So this is a bookkeeping item. Obviously, we have new board members, and anytime we have a construction project, we have to set a certain percentage of the funds to do that project in an escrow account until the project's completed. And we currently have one of those with GRC for the projects they're doing, and that's at Citizens Bank. So That's essentially with the board, so that all the board members are listed on there. Since we have new board members, that's what this item, and the next item that we're going to talk about is similar in nature, because now Mr. Pless is the board chair. We had to change some signature cards at the bank, so.
I believe you will need to stay to sign some things with Miss Felicia tonight, so. Okay, anything else? All right. The item is to approve the opening of a retainage/escrow account at Citizens Bank with GRC Construction to add new board members. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item, approve signature card changes at Citizens Bank, replacing the former board chair, Mr. Eddie Pless, the new board chairman. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second.
Second.
Don't know if there's any need for discussion there. Kind of got that the last time. Any question? Okay. Again, the item to approve signature card changes at Citizens Bank, replacing former board chair with Mr. Eddie Pless, new board chairman. All those in favor say aye. 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 All those approve or opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item, approve change order 2031-03 for the T.A. Duggar restroom renovation project in the amount of $11,434.50 to complete additional cafeteria flooring, lighting, and ceiling tile work. Get a motion to approve.
So moved.
So move, and a second.
Second.
Second, okay.
Okay, so let me take just a second here to explain this item. It is a change order, and so in one of the handicapped restrooms that we've on the first floor, when you walk into the T.A. Duggar cafeteria, this new restroom is located on the left side. If you remember, just within the last 2 years, to the right-hand side of that, there was a classroom that was built there. I don't know, we were talking about that, Mr. Pless, probably 12, 15 years ago.
It's at least that long.
At least that
yeah.
long.
Mhm.
Well, as enrollment has increased, they needed to eliminate that classroom so they would have more spaces in the cafeteria for students to eat. So in the process of developing plans for this project and actually starting construction, that classroom was removed. So GRC was unaware that that room was no longer there. So their plan was to renovate the space, add the restrooms, and do new tile work and ceiling work and lighting over to that new classroom. Well, since that wall's not there anymore, it'll look very odd if we basically just go over to those, I don't know if you remember when you go around that curve, there's a column there that supports the roof structure. It basically just goes over to there. Well, in the process of taking up that flooring to put new tile down, they came across an issue with some of the subflooring, and it bleeds over into the area that was not in the construction zone. So this additional funding would allow them basically to redo the floor, ceiling tile, and lighting from the new restrooms all the way over to the exterior wall. So I think it's worth every penny, because if not, it's going to look piecemealed in there. And with that flooring, we need to address that now. I don't know how you would go over halfway in a floor, fix it, knowing that underneath this tile, it's the exact same thing. So that's the need for this change order, because it's additional work. It's not anything that was in the original scope of work. So everything over to that point is covered. This would cover all the work in the new area.
And we saved about that much on the project, right, originally, or is that still going to be what we had approved?
This part of the project, if you remember, we took all of the contingency funding out of this project. So there's typically you build those projects in case something like this happens, and you can move right ahead and take care of that. But since we had removed that to get it more in line with the budget numbers that we had, that's why that there's nothing there to do that with. But again, I've discussed this with Ms. Wilson, and she is in full agreement that, number one, we have the funding, which is most important, and that now's the time to do that, certainly not after.
Okay. Questions? Okay. Item to approve change order 2031-03 for the T.A. Duggar restroom renovation project in the amount of $11,434.50 to complete additional cafeteria flooring, lighting, and ceiling tile work. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Last item, approve the purchase of bipolar ionization equipment to be installed by train in commons areas throughout the district for the amount not to exceed $18,280. Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion and a second?
Second.
Second? Okay, did you get that, Felicia? All right.
So
Mr. Van Huss?
yes, if you remember, I think it was in October, the board approved $82,000 to begin installing these in our schools. And so at the time, in working with Ms. Wilson with some of our fund balance, we'd set aside $100,000 to do this work. So the first set of $82,000, that work has been completed, and we're very excited about that. And keep in mind that these units basically clean the air. They kill coronavirus, they kill flu, strep, mold, anything like that may come through. So there's going to be long-lasting benefits from this, well beyond once we're out of this pandemic. So this additional funding, it's about $1,000 over that $100,000 that we set aside, but this would allow us to get all 3 elementary gyms. And at the high school, it would take care of the mini gym, basically the wrestling room, and the new band room, and the new front office area that we're working on right now. So it would cover those areas. And then that's another thing that we're looking at with this $2.5 million. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but maybe expanding this program out to cover even more areas of the school system. So I would appreciate your consideration for this again, because I see the long-lasting benefits of this well beyond this pandemic. So.
Okay. Questions?
Is the original funding we set aside, was it from CARES?
No, we actually just set aside this from fund balance. We just had enough in there. We set this aside, and we set aside we gave each school a full-time sub the entire year. So those things we had out of fund balance that we just felt was appropriate to set aside to make sure that we covered those needs. So that fell in that category.
So that was the leftover I was asking about?
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, the item is to approve the purchase of bipolar ionization equipment to be installed by train in the commons areas throughout the district for an amount not to exceed $18,280. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion carries. Again, please don't forget to stay for signatures. Next regularly scheduled board meeting is Thursday, February the 18th at 5:30. And don't forget that prior to that, we will have a budget workshop at 4:45 on the same day.
And also remember, if you can, we'll try to take a new
yeah.
board picture.
Yes.
Maybe in between those two. So here's your chance to, as my mom would say, doll up.
Yeah.
And
Did you hear that, Mike?
Yeah.
well, we'll probably do a mask on and maybe a mask off picture if everyone can hold their breath, long enough to snap the picture. So.
Joseph A. Banks getting some business. All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion and a second. Second. Everybody jump on. All right. Thank you.
Fun.